Good afternoon. Today we're talking to Dr. Anthony Christian Usera, Dr. Anthony, at Power of Chiropractic in Palm Desert, California. Today is August the 17th, 2022. So we're going to ask Dr. Anthony some questions today and see how he's going with his chiropractic work, which is, I've known it for about 10 years, so it's excellent. So, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. Tony, when was the first time that you thought about being a chiropractor?
You know, I never really thought of being a chiropractor growing up. I was really much more interested in just performance enhancement, how to make your ability to do what you do better as an athlete, or perhaps even in a as a kid here, as a battle situation too. How can we make the ultimate warrior? I don't know what movies were out back then that got me thinking like that. But what I decided upon was that the ultimate thing that decides it is the mind and the way that you think about things. So, being a chiropractor is about the way that the mind manifests and expresses through the body. So the body is your temple, and the mind is and spirit are living in that area and expressing themselves through the physical. And the chiropractor is working at both that very basic physical level and then the highest spiritual level too.
You mentioned about being a fitness trainer. Could you tell more about that?
So my bachelor's degree is exercise science, and in that time I was working with hypnosis and sports performance. So could we hypnotize Shaq to throw better free throws, or can a golfer be hypnotized to perfect their swing? So yes, the answer is yes. It's all in your mind, and how can you focus yourself in all aspects in order to do the thing, the sports endeavor, whatever it is that you're doing, better. So as a personal trainer, I had an opportunity to utilize some of my things I was learning in Chinese medicine school at the time, because before I became a chiropractor, I actually was in Chinese medicine school working as a personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness in Friendswood, Texas. And man, so long ago now, it seems, more than half of my life away already. But and those very simple times, I was able to use some of the principles that I had already learned about in my undergrad and at the American College of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine in Houston, Texas, where I was going at the time. And there's so much ability to just work with people because you're just a trainer at the gym. No one expects anything, not a doctor. But wow, this trainer is having people recover from illnesses without doing anything medically to them. And that was through the use of Qigong at the time with the personal training. So we were having people focusing their breathing and their conscious intention and attention to move energy through their body so they can just heal themselves. And we had people with all sorts of neurological issues and things getting better over a short time with just my personal training. So somewhere along the way, there was a chiropractor who would work out at the gym, and it was actually a female, and that was really interesting because even as a female, that she could be so powerful, because it doesn't matter about your physical strength. So at the time, I was probably stronger than 98% of people, on the planet at the time, as a trainer who works out every day, leg pressing 2,000 pounds just to, say that you did. But there was something powerful in this small woman. How could she release this energy in people? So it's actually really interesting because chiropractic is famous for its women chiropractors too. Since the beginning of the profession, there's always been females. There never was a suffrage movement in chiropractic. It was always equal to both genders. So just a side note.
When did you decide that you wanted to be a chiropractor? In that Jim?
Yeah, actually, there was another personal trainer named Luke, and he was working for this famous chiropractor from Arizona. But he was getting ready to graduate, and he needed someone to replace himself with on the lecture circuit. So Luke would meet with Dr. Brimhall around the country. Every weekend, he'd leave from school, go to the airport, and come back on Monday, having been to some place teaching on this lecture circuit. But because he was graduating and becoming a doctor, he wouldn't be as cheap as labor on the lecture circuit anymore, because you have to pay doctors who help you more than you could pay a student. So since I was just starting in school, or I would be just starting in school, I was a perfect person to replace him. At least Dr. Brimhall would have someone for 4 years. So I was able to travel. I went to 30 or 40 of these seminars at least over those years. And we were teaching other doctors how to use some of the same instruments that I still use here today. So I would show chiropractors, orthopedic, the physical therapists, whoever wants to come to his seminar, how to use these tools. So there's a percussor and the adjuster that I still use today from that. Also, interestingly, on the lecture circuit, we were using the first FDA-approved lasers for promoting health and healing. So in 2003, the FDA approved its first laser for chiropractic use, and I still have laser here today now, 20 years later. It's crazy.
How many generations generations of the laser from then till now? How many, different kinds?
It must be 7 or 8 generations now. Back then, the laser was the PL5 from Erconia. It was a 15 milliwatt maximum power. So now we have the Summit Horizon medical laser, which is 30,000 milliwatts. So just that alone is thousands of times more powerful. And we could make a more powerful laser, but at this point, this is enough. Like, you could have a 5,000 horsepower car if you want, but it's going to burn a lot of tires. This is, wow. Now the newer technology is that we have 4 different lasers also coming through at the same time. So back then it was one wavelength only.
Do you still do adjustments?
Yes. The adjustment is the most important thing. The adjustment is the releasing of energy. It's adjustment, increase balance of your mind. So we do the adjustment to remove interference called subluxation. So in your body, there's sub, low, lux, light, Asian condition. So there's a condition of low light in your body that we add balance to in your mind to release. So the adjustment is super important. There's many different ways to adjust. It doesn't have to be a pop, twist, crack. It could also be something very gentle with just a finger. It could also be just your jaw. So your body cares more about the positioning of your neck and jaw than any other part. So if we can just get that into better balance through adjustment, then you could heal yourself. So of course we adjust.
What part of the chiropractic that do you particularly connect with?
That it's so fast, that in the flash of an eye, in the strike of a lightning bolt, you could be better. I've had it happen to me before. So in 1895, when D.D. Palmer did the first adjustment on Harvey Lillard on the 4th floor of the Ryan building in Davenport, Iowa, Harvey Lillard had his hearing restored. It's controversial to say if it happened in just one visit or if it took a few visits, but when Harvey Lillard got his hearing back, everybody came thinking that this is some magical miracle cure. So what I love about chiropractic the most is you could have a single experience that changes the trajectory of the rest of your life. So I've had people who I've adjusted a decade ago come back to me and say, wow, since that one time when I saw you at Starbucks, I haven't had a headache since that day. And I've had many stories like that. Or I've had somebody here, one of my friends owned a local restaurant. He sent some food in to me unannounced. So I was like, hey, delivery guy, get adjusted. He got his hearing back in one visit, just like that. Saying another miracle story. He was walking out of here saying, wait, I hear something over here. Like incredible, didn't expect anything, miraculous healing. I've seen it happen multiple times. That's what's cool about it.
I didn't ever think about hearing before. What other areas that people don't think about do you address?
This is where I pull out the chart, and there's, your brain up here, and it sends signals down through your spinal cord. And so really it helps anything. Your brain controls everything in your body, whether it's through a physical, chemical stimulus that it sends out, or this electrochemical neurological impulses, or whatever. We don't even know scientifically what to call it. There's something about when your brain connects better to your body. When your brain connects better to your body, then you could heal yourself from anything. Because your body doesn't know what to do unless your brain tells it to. If there's not a good signal coming from here down through to those lower body parts, then how do the body parts know what to do? Eventually they start to malfunction and get out of sync with the other parts because they're not communicating. And then disease, or as we call it in chiropractic, dis-ease begins. So I'm never fighting against your disease. And that's why in the past, especially, I never even asked you anything about what you've been through or what brought you here. It doesn't matter. You know what matters? Your body will tell me what matters, because I'll be able to touch and your body will tell exactly what's going on. No need to talk about, because your body right now is like, oh, watch out, don't let me get hurt. Like, oh, there's that thing that I did. There's a step. Oh, every time I step, oh, watch out. That's all your body is doing. There's nothing actually wrong with you. What we want to do is stop fighting disease and start promoting ease. Instead of fighting against what's wrong, promote more of what's right. And then your body could heal itself. And that's why to adjust. That's why all of everything that we do, we want to take away interference and promote how your body already knows how to heal you. In chiropractic, there's this thing we call the innate intelligence. So the innate intelligence is that spiritual life force energy that lives inside your body, that makes you alive. When things are all running, your heart's beating, your lungs are breathing, everything is happening, your hair is growing, your nails, everything is processing throughout your body. There's something that coordinates that. We call it the innate intelligence. Because you can somewhat think of it, you could try to hold your breath, but after a while, your body forces you to breathe again. After a while, you can only hold it so long. It forces you to take a breath, even if you're underwater. Like, you can't just hold your breath forever. There's something inside of you telling you to keep breathing, even if you're asleep, telling you to digest, even though you're busy doing something else. This innate healing intelligence is operating everything automatic about your body. And most of the innate intelligence is manifesting in the physical through the brain stem. So the brain stem controls a lot of the automatic function. So there's a fire right in front of my hand. Before my brain realizes, oh, my hand's burning, instead, it'll feel the fire and pull back before I even realize it. Like, I wouldn't even see it, and my body knows to pull away from pain as a protective mechanism. That's the innate intelligence protecting you. So what I do, my whole thing is coming in agreement with how that works. If we could, instead of fighting what's wrong, come in agreement with how your body knows how to make it right, then you could heal yourself.
I don't think, but I'm sticking with the hearing right now because it's fascinating.
Yes.
How would you, would a person come to you where they're having issues with hearing, or where maybe they have an issue with their lower back and then that all of a sudden they hear better? How does that work?
Yeah, usually they're coming for something else and then they find a miraculous healing because they are not expecting it, Like, they're coming in thinking that their neck is the problem, but it's actually their jaw. And through my talking to your body through touch, your body tells me it's your jaw, then I can just help that, and then everything else gets better. Now you're sleeping better, having more energy, your ear is better, your clenching and grinding is better, all sorts of things. Your headaches go away because of that. Then your hips balance out. Then all of a sudden the wife's pregnant. Like, people are not expecting, and then suddenly there's fertility now, and they thought that they didn't have it. That's the most common thing that happens a lot. Yeah.
Fertility?
Yeah, because people are not expecting that. So I should kind of warn people, watch out if you're, this could be not the thing that you're looking for, although it's still a blessing. We have a few of those babies here.
Chiropractic babies?
Yeah.
Oh my God. How do you, when people come in, or when you're talking to people, how do you explain your method as different from other chiropractors?
It's hard to put it into words, so I just mainly try not to talk a lot and just show people. Like, here, sit down, let me show you. If you feel better, then you'll know it's good. And even if you don't feel better, it might be it's a part of your getting better, so stick with it, try again, you'll see. But usually people just feel better right away as soon as they get up. So let that be the way to show it. That's why I don't really do a lot online with the phone and stuff like that, because what happens is you talk to them, and then you kind of fall in love in a way, and you're like, oh, I know I could help you, come on, and then they never come, or they do something else that hurts them, and then they finally come later, and it makes me sad. So my best way of talking about it is just to show you.
What is for yourself, what's your general health philosophy?
You have to live in the real world at the same time. It's 1 foot in 2 worlds. So, what's practical and what's the ideal. So I think if you keep the ideals in mind, that it makes it easier to bring it into practicality. So know think of the big picture, not just what feels good today. Be moderate. Fine, it's not always easy to control all of the situations. Like, you go to a party and they only have certain kinds of food or drink. It's not the time to insist on your special diet. So, be flexible enough to be able to partake, yet sensible enough to know when to say no.
What should people keep in mind about health and disease going forward?
Well, the big thing is you are the healer. There's never going to be this new thing that they find in the Amazon somewhere in the back of the woods, the cure to whatever. It doesn't, kind of, it is, but there's also other things that do it too. And, it's just how you put things together that matters, and, what the principle are of the thing that you're doing. So we can think about new treatments and accept them. It doesn't have to be only the old school, only tried and true. I used to say, hey, Plato lived to 92, so I'm good, But hey, we could get a benefit if we use a little bit of the modern medicine. We could prevent some things and catch things early, and some things are better done through the medical pharmaceutical approach. But if you catch things early enough, if you're, might be able to do something about it. You don't have to wait until you have a diagnosis to then finally eat better, or, something happens and then now all of a sudden you're going to care about what you drink, wouldn't it have been nice if you just had moderation in the first place? But, remember the ideals. There's certain values that, your ability to choose is important too. So have your fun, but also be on the path.
What's something about chiropractic and your practice in particular that people would find surprising?
Well, I come from such a diverse way of looking at things, because inside the chiropractic community, there's this divide of the straight and the mixer. That's the terms they use. I don't know what they use anymore. They used to call it straight in my time, but now it means it used to be called principled, but now we can't say that either. So I believe that I have both, and that it is okay to be a straight mixer. So there is a mixing of purity. It could still be pure even though it has other things in it too. It's just a different thing that's pure, a bigger truth. So, my number one thing is, how can the things that we talk about here be applied into other areas of life? If there's truth somewhere in what we do in this approach, then it should be compatible with future truth that we come up with the new expanded truth that we learn about as science unfolds things and we get more growth in our technology. We're still never going to have enough technology to overcome, to fully quantify what life is. Like, we could go 50,000 years in the future and it still won't be as good as what Mother Nature has done for millions of years. Like, I don't know how. What we want to do is not forsake the future, the modern, the next things that are coming out. But remember what's always worked. Remember the old things, the chiropractic approach, the principle of the innate intelligence, that you heal yourself and the ultimate healer is only inside of you. And that no amount of resources can purchase that health. So Humpty Dumpty had all the king's horses and he had all the king's men, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
How long has chiropractic been around?
In the modern form, as we call it now, chiropractic started in 1895. So September 18th, 1895 is the birthday officially. But D.D. Palmer was a magnetic healer. So I did study a lot in magnetic healing before I became a chiropractor, which is part of why I became a chiropractor too. So not just Anton Mesmer, but other old school hypnotists would have people get together and then have mass healings of whatever your problem was. Kind of like a spiritual revival of some sort, a vaudeville sideshow act. But it was real. Not all snake oil is bad. Some snake oil is good, and some snake oil for specific purposes is really the only effective thing. But somehow the culture has said that snake oil is bad, even though it's only bad when it's fraud. That meaning of snake oil is bad, yes. But there is real snake oil that's good. And we made it in Chinese medicine school. It's kind of funny. So we had a little gecko in there and all kinds of stuff.
How did it move from the snake oil mentality to adjustments? How did that?
Well, the legend about Harvey Lillard has it that he had an accident one day, like 17 years before he got adjusted. And after that day, he had a pain in his neck and his hearing went away. And D.D. Palmer, as a magnetic healer, probably already tried his magnetic healing stuff, his qigong or whatever you call it in the old days, and finally did this specific bone movement. But Hippocrates actually talks about that. The maker of the Hippocratic Oath, like 2,000 something years ago, he talks about look to the spine for the source of health. So we, besides the modern version of chiropractic from 1895, think that it could be pretty much as old as, it's probably the second oldest profession, we would say.
What should people consider? Why should people consider going to a chiropractor, and when should they go to a chiropractor?
It's interesting. In our culture now, if it's not broken, don't fix it. If it's not squeaking, don't oil it. But the best time to go to the chiropractor is now, all the time. The best time to go to the chiropractor was 20 years ago. But the second best time is today. So, and I got that from the Chinese, by the way, but I just changed it for us. Because if it's true, what they said 3,000 years ago, then there's probably something true about it now. So I just want to compare the old principles to anything new. So I don't care what you have new, But it has to line up with the principles or else it won't really work. And no thank you, I'll stay with what we know works.
What about disease versus wellness? If you feel okay, why would you want to go to a chiropractor?
All right, I see. You know, your body is designed to move and work in a certain way. So I just want to come in agreement with that and make sure that it stays moving the way it's supposed to. If it does, then energy will flow better and you can heal yourself. Like, that's all it is. It's always just you healing yourself. So getting adjusted before there's a problem, it's just like with a brand new car. Like, oh, you have a new car, I don't need to change the oil. But if you had that car 50 years from now and still didn't change the oil yet, that wouldn't be good. There are some cars 100 years old. I've been in a nice 100-year-old Rolls Royce. And hey, it's pretty much all original parts because they always took care of it. And it was quality in the beginning. And your body is made of the best materials. So your quality, so all we have to do is do your maintenance and you'll stay.
Maintenance.
That's all it is. Yep. That older car, if it's been maintained, it's just pretty much as good as a new one. You know, it still gets you there for sure. Sure, the new one has a few features, but that old model, if you took care of it, it's still good.
Any pearls of wisdom about your body that you can think of?
Oh man, there's so many things. Just to think that you are full of toxins, just accept it right away. And knowing that, you could start detoxing. So the first detox is your breathing. Breathe better, breathe deeper, do a little deeper, better breathing, conscious breathing. Then you're getting out just through what you breathe. And we know we could breathe in things and it has an immediate effect on your body. Whereas some things you eat it takes a while before it shows. So, or drink it. So the first detox is to breathe better. And then the next detox is drink more water. And then besides that, there are certain minerals. So you need minerals. Start with hydrogen would be nice. The salts would be good. Like just having more minerals alone right away would be huge because now these healthy minerals are there and they're taking up space so that when the toxins come to your body, there's already something there. If you have the real key to your door already in the hole, then fake keys that don't turn the door won't come in and get it because there's already one occupying the space. But if you have your keyhole open because there's nothing healthy there, then the toxin can come in and block that keyhole now. And then things don't work inside your cells. And then your body's really resilient, so it's fine, it gets over it. But, you know, like some people, they run a marathon and then tomorrow they have a heart attack. So yesterday running the marathon, they had a 98% blockage, but they still ran it just fine. You know, like your body has so much resilience. You can get away with so much cheating. But if you can just have more minerals, be breathing better, you're already ahead of a lot of the game. And then you could add in like maybe chlorella or algae of some sort, maybe some clay, like just simple things. Clay is good. So now I'm just saying all you need is dirt and water. But then biblically, what do they say that you're made from? So I don't know. There's these salts and the minerals and you could mix some of them together. There's such simple things. Just be getting a little bit of detox every day. Like that's the simplest. You don't have to be here. You can just see this and, you know, if I could get you to do a little bit of detox a day, it would help so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony.
You're welcome.